The issue of the Kyoto Protocol is very much on the agenda. The Kyoto Protocol is a legally binding agreement. The United States is not part of the Kyoto Protocol, so we're not first and foremost the player in the middle of those discussions. But that's a very live and intense conversation, and something one way or another is going to be done with respect to the Kyoto Protocol. But beyond Kyoto, it's absolutely worth the discussions that led to the agreement we reached last year in Cancun. Again, nobody should confuse whether there is a legally binding agreement with whether there is something important, an accord that's important that was negotiated, because that did happen last year. Unlike the year before, by the way, in Copenhagen, it was not just endorsed but enthusiastically endorsed by the Conference of the Parties. That's the first time major economies, developed and developing, ever came forward, all of them, with mitigation pledges. Now, Kyoto at its best probably covers, somewhere in the high 20s in terms of percent of emissions in the world. You're probably well over 80% of global emissions covered in the context of the Copenhagen and then the Cancun agreements. There was an agreement to establish a new funding mechanism called the Green Fund. There was an agreement to set up a new technology center and network that the U.S. has been working hard on, both at home, trying to think through how that should be set up, and with partners like Japan and India, that I think could be important. There is an agreement to establish a whole regime of transparency and accountability. That's a very important element. I mean, the purpose of it is so countries can see. All countries can get a window into what others are doing and can have some sense of confidence that other countries are also acting. And so that the world generally can see how we're doing in terms of global emissions. All of those things, there was also an important agreement with respect to the issue of adaptation. All of those things were agreed to in Cancun, not in a legally binding agreement, but nonetheless agreed to in a way that countries are quite serious about.